Hey everyone, so I've just got a few moments to spare and I thought I'd come into the bunnies room and spend some time with them. So I'm just in BL and Lotus's area at the moment, and this is why I love having a large space that I can come and be with my rabbits in. I don't have to take them out of their home and have them being picked up and put them somewhere else. I can actually come into their territory and I can spend time with them and enjoy being in their world, and they love it too. So it's, I can sit here, or I could lie down with them if I want to and just be with them. And I think that's the best way to interact with rabbits, because when you've got like a little hutch outside or even a small pen inside, you just can't do that. You can't sit with them and you can't interact with them on their terms and on their level, and it's just such a nice experience when you can, and you really get the most out of your relationship with your bunny as well, I think. So it's another reason that I advocate big spaces, big pens. It's so important for the bunny's health as well, of course, because they need to exercise, they need to jump, they need to run, they need to be able to stretch up, and this is just another benefit for us humans and also for the bunnies. They love interacting in a safe environment that they're familiar with and they're confident with, and you really just see the most come out of them when you're in this sort of situation with them. It's just such a lovely way to be. So I'm so glad there's sort of a movement more now to having larger cages and house rabbits being the sort of the new trend in a way, and people realizing that little cages aren't the kind thing to do for bunnies anymore. Little cages for bunnies were actually made when rabbits were being bred for meat, and it was a way that they could be contained and fatten up really easily for people that were then going to eat them. So they were never designed with kind intentions or with the rabbit's best interest at heart. It was always for that reason. So it's great that people are now realizing, hang on, this is actually not the thing. We shouldn't shove our rabbits in tiny little cages down the back where they can't run and jump and do all the essential things that rabbits need to do to be happy. So it's really good to see that coming along. When I first started my journey with my rabbits, which was 11 years ago now, because Coco was the first bunny that I got and she's just turned 11, they were going to be outside rabbits to start with when I first got them, and I knew that I didn't want them in a small pen. I'd done a bit of research and I'd realised how it didn't meet their requirements having them in a small hutch that was pretty much the only thing that was readily available here in Tasmania at the time. House rabbits weren't really heard of in Tasmania, probably in a lot of Australia really. It was more a thing that was in the UK at the time, but I knew I didn't want them in a small tiny cage. I knew I wanted more than that for them, and so my husband painstakingly made a really large cage for them for outside, and they were only meant to be outside pets because we were renting at the time, and also my husband gets asthma to animal fur. So we thought, oh well, at the time I thought, well, rabbits are outside pets, as a lot of people, have thought, and some do still think. And so we had them outside, but the more I researched into them, the more I realised, hang on, this isn't really the best thing for them, which was awkward because having them inside wasn't going to be the best thing for my husband with his asthma. And it was a rental property, so I didn't even know if I'd be allowed to have them inside, all that sort of thing. So it was a bit awkward, but I knew I couldn't know that and then not act on it. I knew I had to act on it. So I broached it with my husband, and of course he's a very kind, loving person, so he was understanding, and we came to the solution of having, luckily we had spare space in our house, of being able to put the rabbits into their own room, and we got this powerful air purifier in the doorway to stop the hair from blowing out into the rest of the house. So we came up to that conclusion. I actually broached the landlord myself and assured him that if any damage was done with the rabbits, that we would pay for the cost of the repairs and all that, and he was great. Luckily he was great with that, and so they came inside, and once they're inside I just saw how much more, how could I say, I saw such more of who they were, more of their personality just came out, because they could run around, they could explore, they could get up to mischief, they could be active, they could be interested in what we were doing in the house, and it was just, they just became so much more part of the family. And I really saw how wonderful a pet a rabbit can be. It's not just this little thing to be stuck out in a hutch and occasionally patted. They are so much more than that, and they deserve so much more than that. So it's been a big journey, but it's wonderful. And just to be able to, I mean, it's raining outside. It's a very rainy day outside today, but having them inside in their own room, I can still come in here in my pajamas and I can sit with them and I can just enjoy being with them for a few minutes in warmth and in comfort, sitting on the floor, not getting muddy and wet, and it's just such a nice thing to be able to do. So I should go into the oldies pen now and give them a little bit of a pat. Yeah, I know you want a pat too, don't you, sweetheart? I know you do. I know you do. Yes, I do. I'm going to go next door. I'm going to go in there. I'm going to brave the poo bombs in there and go and give those guys some attention now. So excuse the mess. I did clean up both the pens this morning, but the oldies are a little bit messy, but that's okay. That's not a big deal, is it, Billy? And it's great, you know, as animals get older too. I've really enjoyed being able to have them inside. You know, you really realise you want your animals and your pets to live a long and happy life, and having the bunnies inside has meant that they're so much more comfortable in their older age, which has been great. You know, they've got the soft padded flooring, they're warm or cool, they don't have to suffer. You know, in winter it would be awful outside for Coco now, because she does have, being 11 years old, she does have a bit of arthritis. She's not as mobile as she was before, and in the cold weather her arthritis would just be awful. So it's so nice that she can be in comfort and I can keep an eye on her all the time. You know, she's not stuck out there and I don't know what's going on with her health. So yeah, it's really wonderful, and I think it does help them to live into old age, or have a better probability, I guess, of living into old age, because when they're out in little hutches outside and stuff, or even a big hutch, being outside, you know, there is those extremes of temperature still to a degree. So I think that they their bodies just wear down a bit quicker, I think, when they're constantly having to deal with that. So I really do love having my bunnies inside. And I know, you know, it's not for everyone. Some people have their bunnies outside in wonderful big garden sheds with runs attached and that sort of thing, which is fabulous as well. This is just from my perspective and how I feel about the whole thing, and yeah, that's my view on it all. Here we go. It wasn't focusing on you properly, Billy. That wasn't good, was it, bud? It's all need to be focused on. I guess you do. I love Billy's. He's got a little mark on the side of his, grey mark on the side of his face there. It's very sweet and unique. Such a gorgeous boy. You're such a gorgeous boy, Bill. What are you doing over there, Coco? You're chinning your food bowl, so everyone knows that's yours, are you, hun? I found a piece of hay, that's a bonus. She's the best hay to Coco. She eats so much hay. And I think it definitely has helped her to stay healthy for so long. Hay, long strand hay is such an important part of their diet. Are you coming over, Coco? You're going to come and say hello to us? You're very busy. No, you're not. Shaking your head. Hi, darling, I'm here. Hello. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. She might be a bit too busy for pats. She loves pats, but she only loves them when she's not busy. If you pat her when she's busy, she gets very irritated because she's trying to do something and you're just trying to hold her up with pats. But Billy here is always ready for pats, aren't you, Billy, hey? Always ready for pats. He's got such a beautiful big head to pat too. Absolutely gorgeous. It's so solid and big and pattable. Beautiful boy. I thought he was going to be quite a small rabbit when we went to the get him from the RSPCA, because they said he was a small bunny, but he's the biggest bunny that I've got, so he's not, I wouldn't classify him as small. Not that it matters one way or the other, but it was surprising that he was such a big boy. Oh, he's beautiful. Yes, you are. I felt sorry when we went to pick him up from the RSPCA, because we had to have like a couple of hours drive to go get him because he was a little while away, but I was very specific about the age and the personality and the sex of the bunny, that, or the gender of the bunny that I wanted to match with Coco to make sure we had a good bond. and so I really wanted to go get him, but then they don't put animals on hold, which is fair enough, but they do put down your inquiry so that you've got your interest noted in that animal, and if someone wants to come and buy them or adopt them before you get there, then they will ring you first and say, this person wants to pick them up now, are you going to come and get them, or are we going to give them to the new person? So I had put my name down, which was good, and it was a few days I had to wait till I went to pick him up, and when I went to see him, he was outside in a puppy pen, I guess it was, sort of thing, and there were so many kids just stepping over into the puppy pen and picking him up and holding him and putting him down, and he just looked, he did not look impressed, poor boy. He was putting up with it all. He was such a good sport, but I thought, oh, poor thing, and I thought it was a bit odd that people were just going in and picking him up without actually asking, because he was sort of out. You can wander through this shelter on your own, and you can have a look at the cats and the rabbits and that sort of thing in that area once you've checked into the reception desk. And so, yeah, families were just wandering around the rabbit area, and because he was the one that was out in a pen, everyone was just stepping in and picking him up and holding him, and it was so lucky we got him, because, and it was so lucky I put my expression of interest down, because as we pulled up to pick him up, there was another family there that was the kids were holding him, and they were like, oh, we really want to adopt him, but the people at the RSPCA here said that, you know, you were coming all the way to get him, and they were sure that you would be coming. So I was so glad I put my name down, because if I hadn't, he would have gone to the other family. And I did feel a bit mean, because the kids of the other family were really disappointed, but you know, they were holding him and they almost dropped him at one stage, and I thought, he's old, and there was other lovely rabbits there that were a lot younger that I'm sure they could have enjoyed. I just felt that Billy was meant for us, and I think it's much nicer for him to be in a place where, you know, he's not going to be manhandled so much, and his old joints and bones and all that sort of thing. So we were very lucky to get all our beautiful babies, but it was very close to not having this Billy. Yes, it was very close. Alright guys, well that was just a random little video and little catch up, and thank you so much for watching. I hope it wasn't just too much random drivel from me. And I will send you lots of love and hugs, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye!